This is a pocketsofthefuture.com video blog.
Okay, we're going to talk about how we got the grains.
Yeah. There's a very nice, Dom particularly, and many people feel like that these grains are kind of one of nature's gifts in a way, and there shouldn't be a lot of profit attached to them. So there's a whole network of people all over the world who ship grains here and there, kind of the amount it takes to ship without, so there's a lot of generosity associated with these grains because many people have had extraordinary restorations in their health from drinking the kefir. And the gentleman that I got these grains from was one of those people. He started drinking a lot of it every day and just lost all kinds of weight and stabilized his blood sugar and strengthened his heart and all this good stuff. He's older, maybe 70 or something like that. So we had a little bit of exchange. I actually first knew him through Lehman's, yeah, which is the Amish catalog, which is on our site, and they used to have a list associated. And so I wanted to try it, and he sent me a package of grains and 2 pages of instructions.
He's also the person that sent us comfrey, which we just talked about when we were healing Phoebe, which didn't take. But we found there's a great deal of generosity within the homesteading community where people share knowledge and whatever. If people go to Dom's site, it's always good that if you use any of the material, because he has tons of recipes and it's filled with research that should be supported. Either leave a donation. You can buy grains from him, and the water grains as well as the...
Yes, and he's been cultivating these grains for a long time with some special eye towards...
Kefir and...
cultivating them towards, whatever's best in kefir grains. So you can get them from him directly, but also there's somebody who, I think she's in the States, and she's kind of a representative of his, and she helps moderate the list. And so I think he must send them in bulk to her, and you can get them from her also. But people on the list often just will write in and say, I live here and I need grains, and then people write and say, okay, I've got them available. And I know there's other places even outside of Dom's list where people do that. You can Google it, and that network is there, which is really neat.
It's one of the first, and it's one of the first things we could have done. I mean, it was one of the later things that we ended up doing in terms of homesteading. We made yogurt for years, and then I think maybe we started doing the bread first, and then finally we found out kefir grains, because I tried to do it with the powder, but it didn't come out the way we wanted it. But it's an easy way to get going in this sort of lifestyle. You get the cultured foods that are, the nourishing traditions we talked about in the other video,
right?
Which is, we have another video that will be posted as well about kefir sourdough, which we talk about. We talk about nourishing traditions, but this is an easy way to get going.
It is. This is so easy. I mean, you just
have to do it every day.
You pour it out, you pour in new milk, and that's it.
You just have to do it every day.
And if you need so much, but you don't drink it that quickly, actually, I should say, even though we don't do this, you can just take this that's done and you can put it in the fridge. And actually, it can stay for weeks because it's fermented, and at that temperature, that's actually a way to preserve milk.
It stays for a week, and then you have to feed it. Remember, the grains will continue to grow in the fridge.
No, I mean what's already been poured off. Because it will continue to ferment even when the grains are gone, but if you put it in the fridge, because of the lower temperature, it will ferment much more slowly. So if you had the grains in, you'd feed it new milk. But if you don't, you can just leave it there and it'll stay good for a long time, and then you can just take it as you need it. So it's
you can store the grains too, as well as it.
Right. So we just love it. It's so much a part of our life. It seems like we've always been doing this somehow.
Yeah, it's something that we wouldn't want to stop. And we could use the goat milk too when we switch over to goat milk.
That's right. So we really appreciate how much this has been a boost to our health. We just hardly ever get sick, actually, and I think drinking the kefir has a lot to do with it. Also, there can be times if you have a stomach ache or something like that, a remedy is to go have a glass of kefir. Kefir can help you sleep. It's very sort of healthy and just kind of a really simple way. I mean, I think its action is complex, but it's just a simple thing to have this jar kefir. It's easy to make. It's easy to put it into your schedule and to just drink it when you need it. And
the other thing is that it really never goes bad, even though it gets more sour. But we would, if let's say we didn't have the use of a refrigerator, if we didn't have electricity, we couldn't store the milk for any prolonged time. So we'd either drink the milk fresh, or we'd have to turn it into kefir. I mean, that's what people did, or turn it into cheese.
Right.
And so kefir actually you can turn it into cheese. He has a recipe to make hard cheeses as well as the mascarpone, and there's a kind of a spread that we make
Right, and what's really neat about that is that you have, because most cheeses, of course, you boil the milk, sometimes for long periods of time, or if you don't boil it, it's heated actually for a long period of time for different reasons. But with the kefir, when you make it into cheese, you're getting cheese that's made from raw kefir, so it's full of probiotics.
Made with
So it's
raw
just
milk.
another way, yeah, made with raw milk. So that's what's really exciting about it.
And what we have is raw milk, which is a living, breathing food that hasn't been destroyed and killed by pasteurization. And then we have the grains, which is a living, organic, healthy, what would you call it?
Sort of an entity.
Entity, yeah. I mean, it's like it's almost like a living plant type of thing. And you combine those two things and turn it into, a living, it even emboldens the already good raw milk. So
Right, and then you can just add tasty herbs and all kinds of stuff to it and just get all this great stuff, sandwich spread, cheese. And as I said in the earlier video we did of making the kefir sourdough starter, the kefir whey is very precious. It's very good for inoculating when you're making, fermenting, like when you're making sauerkraut or something like this, or if you're soaking grains and beans and you want to put with the water some salt and some whey. I specifically save the kefir whey for that because it will do much more that whey is supposed to do than whey from regular milk does. So we have 2 jars of whey in the refrigerator. One's the kefir whey that's for special sort of projects, and we have another jar of whey that we keep that's for making paneer, kind of a fresh cheese.
and what we found about cheese making is that it's a combination of acid and heat. And with the kefir, what's great is you don't use the heat. It's just, is there an acid? I mean, we don't, what turns it into?
Well, it creates one because it could become sour, but it just does it all
It
itself.
ferments it, and that's a great way to get whey, because it's not, it hasn't been boiled.
Right.
Okay,
So this is part of how I think of this is that we homestead with the cows and the goats and whatnot, and then in the kitchen we have more life forms, right? So we're homesteading with microbes. Indoor homesteading. This is our indoor livestock.
So here's the kefir in the cupboard. There's the kefir that's being made. The grains are in the back. This is an older kefir. It probably separated, but we shook it for some reason to drink it or something. But usually by the second day you see more separation. So that's our kefir. We're going to probably Leslie will be posting a blog on kefir for any information we left out, with a lot of links at our Pockets of the Future blog, which is you can click on our YouTube channel. We also have a kefir page on our website at pocketsofthefuture.com.